Do people remember accurately what takes place in a reading? Well, we have with us tonight Mr. Rod Beal. Mr. Beal, you're a satisfied client of Maureen's, I understand. Is that correct?
Yeah.
She did a reading for you not too long ago, which I understand you think is a very good reading.
Yes, she did.
A few simple questions, if I may. First of all, how long did the thing last, first of all, the reading?
About half an hour.
About half an hour. How many names, pardon me, did she give you during that period of half an hour?
Probably half a dozen.
About half a dozen. And did they all hit?
Not everyone.
How many
but
did
they
you
had a
say?
similar sounding, like Doreen, Maureen, that type of thing.
Well, you were kind enough to give us a tape recording of that reading done by Maureen Flynn for you. And for your information, during your reading, Maureen Flynn tried these names, and they are on the tape of the reading that you're referring to. Alan, Alfred, Alice, Anne, Bill, Charlie, Colin, Connie, David, Derek, Eileen, Ellen, Flory, Frank, Fred, George, Jim, Joe, John, Karen, Catherine, Kevin, Lillian, Lisa, Liz, Lynn, Mark, Mary, May, Michael, Rob, Ron, Shirley, Sydney, Stanley, Sid, and Steve. That's 37 names, and she also asked you if you could connect with any name beginning with an N or an L, and you could not do so. Now, in the ones that were accepted, and you did accept 9 of the 37 that were given, these were some of the categories: a son, a lodger, a brother, a nephew, an adopted nephew, a grandfather, a fellow worker, a cousin, and the neighbor's dog. Now,
that's right out of context.
I'm sorry?
Right out of context.
We have a transcript of it right here, sir, and you may have that transcript to refer to it, and the names, I think, are outlined there, all 37 of them.
You can analyze anything. You can analyze Encyclopedia Britannica. Mr. Beal is here because he felt that what he actually got on that tape made sense to him, very much so.
Would you welcome, please, Uri Geller.
Johnny had been a magician himself and was skeptical. I was asked to help prevent any trickery.
Nice to see you.
Thanks.
We have only met...
This scares me.
This scares you? Well, we just got some things together here. And
I told them to provide their own props and not to let Geller or his people anywhere near them.
Also, one of our staff members did some drawings which have been sealed in an envelope, and I'd like you to take your own pace when you feel like you want to try anything.
Right.
Do you want to try that particular experiment first?
When I'll feel free.
When
okay?
Sure.
We'll start eliminating the ones that do not have the water.
All right, without touching them.
He is really suspicious, you know.
Yes.
I'm having a hard time with you.
Okay, I don't mean to be, Uri. I really don't.
Just keep looking. Okay, let me rest a little, all right?
All right.
You know, I'm surprised because before this program, your producer came and he read me at least 40 questions you're going to ask me.
Well, I can ask you all kinds of questions if you'd like me to ask you questions.
I have to have time, and
All right, we are back. Uri was telling me you don't feel what, strong tonight?
I don't feel strong. It's not all tonight. Right now I'm feeling being pressed, and then I can't.
Well, I'm not trying to press you. I really not.
You're only telling me, well, will you try that or that?
Well, I thought that was the idea of. No, I'm not trying to push you down.
James turned the page of a telephone directory without touching it. And you claim to have done that with psychic power.
Yes.
Now, you're prepared to demonstrate your psychic powers again. You've warmed up. You're ready to go, are you, James? Mm-hmm. Very well. Oh, James, you are prepared to pay him $10,000 if he can turn the page of the telephone directory with certain controls.
That's right.
You have the $10,000, do you, Randy?
I do indeed. Now, what I have here is particles of a white plastic, which, when given a good heavy puff of air, will, I think, rather conclusively show whether or not blowing is the method accomplished. Now, it will not, perhaps, in some way differentiate between genuine psychic power and actual blowing, but it certainly should be very interesting indeed to see what now occurs.
James?
Ready.
This time.
How many pages?
Just one page, once.
Like
Okay.
that.
The styrofoam and the lights form electricity which pulls the page. Look. It pulls the page down instead of freeing the pages.
All right. And what would you like to ask us to ask Randy to allow you to do or for me to
To
do?
either take something else, either lighter or something that is going to keep, that isn't going to form like static electricity.
You mean put something else, some other material around
Something
here?
that is not foam. Foam causes static electricity, and the lights is what heats it up.
All right, Randy, is there anything else that you can put around the telephone directory?
I've heard the question, but the question is not valid because it's making an assumption which is not true. The foam does not in any way create static electricity, and Mr. Heydrich, in demonstrating that the pages were clinging together, didn't demonstrate it to my satisfaction. I think we could perhaps ask the judges for their opinion on that. I am not a scientist, so I'm not qualified to declare on it.
Judges?
Whatever static electricity exists in the styrofoam would not really affect the movement of the page or the clinging of the pages together, in my opinion.
I would add that if this is in fact psychic functioning, I don't really see why that would make a difference.
Very well. Randy, would you allow me to turn perhaps half dozen pages and then put them back?
Oh, yes, you may do that, please.
James? I'll just lift up 1, 2. Be helpful to you?
The static is going to still be here because of the foam. See, that's
Well,
what I'm
it is the
saying.
opinion of the judges that there is not enough static formed by the foam to be a problem. So, under the conditions agreed upon, it would seem that now you should at least try with psychic power to turn the page of the telephone directory, James.
Okay.
It's not going to turn for you?
No, it isn't.
Well, have you reached the point then when at which we can declare the demonstration terminated?
This isn't a magician's trick. I can't just come up, bang, bang, and it's over. I have to be to where I can work with something small and then big, to build up my own self. So this is, it isn't a trick. It has to be done. This is just, it's power. It's mental power.
The conditions agreed upon have been fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
Bob, the comment very briefly is that I have gone through many hundreds of these tests with many hundreds of people who claim to have psychic powers. And quite frankly, it's more or less the same story every time. When a simple, direct, very uncomplicated protocol is used and the control is applied, the psychic forces don't seem to be present, if indeed they are ever present at all.
Clive, you've agreed to attempt to find a piece of zinc ore like this one right over here, which is concealed under one of the 7 boxes that you see behind us. Is that correct?
Yes, that's quite correct.
First, please show us the effect of your dowsing rod on this sample of zinc ore, and we'll just conceal the sample with a box so the conditions are exactly the same as when you come to do the test.
Righto, James. Now, to explain how the rod works, when you're facing the ore, I don't know if you can see this, but we put a white-ended tip there. It has a slight sideways move when you're there. Take it off, and it dies. See it die, comes in, and it dies again. So to amplify that, I give it a voluntary upward movement. So aim it at the ore, and what do you get? You get a large oval form, which is easy to distinguish. If I take it to the side, see it die? I'll close my eyes, bring it in. I can feel it moving. Dead.
Well, that seems to be a very dramatic demonstration. Now, will you please try to locate the ore sample taken from the same piece of zinc ore which is hidden in one of the boxes behind us? Of course, If chance alone were operating here, you'd have a 1 in 7 chance of finding the sample at your first attempt. Using guesswork alone, we'd expect you to locate the zinc ore sample by your 3rd or 4th attempt. Good luck, Clive.
Thank you very much, James. Right, I'll take number 1 first. In the upward movement. There's no there. No. Come back to that. Try 4 again just to see. Well, James, we'll bank on 7, see if it's there.
On number 7. All right, let's take a look and see. Now, even I don't know underneath which box the zinc ore is, and I see that it's not here. Well, Clive, would you like to have a second try at it?
Let's try number 4 again.
Number 4.
No.
Well, it was wrong, so let's try another attempt, shall we?
Well, we'll try 2.
We'll try number 2.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look. Here we are at box number 2, the 3rd guess, and there we are. There's the piece of zinc. Zinc ore, pardon me. Well, Clive, would you join me here for a minute?
Yes, certainly.
We said that by chance you'd find it on your 3rd or 4th attempt. You found it on the 3rd attempt, so your results sadly seem to be no better than chance. But we'd like to thank you very much for coming tonight. What we're concerned with tonight is whether or not it's possible for James to perceive an aura through obstacles. And to determine that, we've agreed upon the following experiment. Would you step over here with me, James, please?
Certainly.
We're now going to reveal to our audience here in the studio the 5 volunteers behind the screen. Now, each one is standing beneath a letter, A, B, C, D, and E. Now, James, can you see all the auras through this screen here?
Yes.
You can. I'm now going to ask someone at random to step from behind the screen. I have the names here in my pocket. First of all, will John step around from behind the screen? James, can you still see his aura around his body?
Yes.
And which position did John come from, do you believe?
C.
From C? John, would you step into the position C, please? James, if, as you claim, you can see auras through the screen, John should now be standing in the same position as he was when he was behind the screen. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, will Helen please come forward? Helen will step out from behind the screen. Now, James, from what position did Helen come?
D.
From D. Helen, will you step into position D, please? Can I now ask Andrew to come forward, please? Andrew is the 3rd person from behind the screen. There he is, and there are only 3 spaces left. Which one do you think he belongs in?
A.
In A, Andrew, would you take position A, please? Now, would Bob please step forward? Only 2 spaces left. Which letter, B or E?
E.
E. Would you step into position E? And finally, would Danny step forward, please? Of course, there's no choice about which letter James thinks you are, so Danny, you'll take up position B, am I correct? Okay, fine. Just a moment ago, these 5 persons were standing behind the screen. James, if you have them all in the correct order, it will be good evidence that you can see auras through screens, as you have a less than 1% chance of matching all of these 5 correctly by chance alone, just by guesswork. By chance alone, you should get, the expectation is, one of them correct, if it's only chance. Let's see if James managed to beat the odds. To these 5 people, I ask, please reveal which position you were originally standing in by showing us, I think it's inside your hat, isn't it? Take them off and let's see. C, B, D, A, and E. So out of this, we obtained 2 correct. All right. So, James, you got 2 out of 5 correct, and I take my hat off to you for trying. Would your volunteers please go back to the correct positions in which they actually belong? Take your correct positions, and those 3 move into different spots. The results are only slightly better than those predicted by chance. It seems something went a bit wrong this time. What explanation could there be, James?
Well, it's quite possible that this has been the first time that I've ever attempted this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's quite possible that I've allowed myself to come into it, okay?
I see, but you did say you could see them through obstacles.
Yes, I can, yeah.
Well, thank you very much, James, for coming tonight.
Popoff seemed to have divine powers.
Alice, is it Gould? Alice Gould?
He knew their names.
Stand up, Alice.
As well as the afflictions they'd come to cure.
God is touching that thyroid condition right now. God is touching your nerves right now. God is touching your eyes. Just lift up your hands, get ready, here it comes.
He also knew the personal details of their lives.
You're going to hear good news from Charles before everything is over. I'll tell you, he's going to be completely delivered because of your prayers, because of your faith. Here it comes, complete healing in Jesus. Woo! Mighty name, right now, right now, right now. Amen. It's all right to praise the Lord.
I suspected that Popoff's revelations were other than divine. The radio scanner we brought to the hall picked up a decidedly worldly source.
Hello, Petey. Can you hear me? If you can't, you're in trouble.
John, is it
Popoff was being prompted by his wife through a wireless earpiece.
John?
Dearie Johnson.
She'd gotten her information from prayer cards filled out by the faithful before the show began.
She wants to get rid of the walker.
You want to get rid of this walker, sister? Oh, glory. How long have you been walking on that walker?
About 3 years.
3 years.
She lives at 1627 10th Street.
1627 10th Street? Is that right?
That's right.
She has arthritis all over.
Ooh, burning this arthritis right out of your body. Take a few steps just to make the devil mad. Hallelujah. That's it. Just move around a little bit. There she goes. Just walk with me. Oh, glory to God. She's not going to need that walker anymore. God's just putting new strength, new health, burning that arthritis out of her body. Just keep going. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
I was able to arrange for another broadcast of the Miracle Crusade on The Tonight Show, but this time the wireless prompting was included. In 1987, Peter Popoff declared bankruptcy.